One thing all gardeners have in common: weeds. Many have used Roundup to keep those invasive pests at bay. But maybe now you're looking for alternatives. But what are they? Here to help round up the good options is Neil Rhodes, my friend who is the weed specialist with the UT Extension Service. Neil, we're glad you're here.
Thank you, Tammy. It's great to be here.
Talk to me about glyphosate, which seems to be at the center of this issue. What is it?
Glyphosate is a herbicide, and it's been around a long time. It's been registered at the EPA since 1974. It's one of the most widely used crop protection chemicals in the world, used in row crops, and then of course a lot of homeowner uses, as we're here to talk about today. Glyphosate is actually the active ingredient, and it is off patent now, so you will see a lot of different versions of glyphosate.
Yes, show us some.
Yes, these are some that you'll see in the store. They don't say Roundup, but the active ingredient is glyphosate. Most of the homeowner versions of Roundup glyphosate contain pelargonic acid, which produces a quick burn, so you can see it work faster than glyphosate by itself.
How do I look at all of these options and decide which one is for me?
Okay. Glyphosate, Roundup, other versions of it, is, in terms of weed control, is certainly not a perfect mousetrap, but it comes as close as any other. It's what's known as a non-selective herbicide. It either kills or suppresses all vegetation that you'll run into in a typical homeowner landscape. So having an idea of what your weeds are, and the best way to get your weeds identified is at your local county extension office. They're there to serve you, and then you can get a recommendation for the county extension agent, and they'll help you sort through that myriad of homeowner products.
A lot of times it's just grass that's coming up in cracks in your sidewalk and in your garden, that kind of thing.
That's correct. This one right here, called Grass Be Gone, as the name would imply, is actually fluazafop, which is the active ingredient in Fusilade, which has been around a long time. If it's just grass that you're after, fluazafop products are excellent choices. Now, they don't control broadleaf weeds, chickweed, henbit, and some of those.
Right.
But it is very effective on grasses, including perennial grasses like Bermuda grass, which it's hard to contain and tends to run under sidewalks and in the landscape.
So chickweed and henbit, everybody gets those in the spring. They
Yes.
come up prolifically. Is something that says weed and grass killer, is that something that would
is
work?
something you might look for. This particular one is a broad spectrum material. It has, one of the active ingredients is dicamba, which is where you get the broadleaf control. So be careful using it around shrubbery, using in cool weather. Actually, those winter annuals like chickweed and henbit germinate in the fall. And so really the best time to control those is around Christmas, prior to New Year's.
Okay.
And that way they don't get too big and they're out of your way the next spring when you're planting your vegetable garden or things like that.
Got it. Okay, so talk to me about the label, because I know that there's practically a book here that's attached to this particular one. Talk to me about the label.
Yes, we need to have that discussion. By law, every crop protection chemical, whether it's a herbicide, insecticide, or a fungicide, is required to have a label. That label tells the active ingredients. It has directions for use, and what is very important is very early in the label is the PPE section, or personal protective equipment. Every chemical is required to have that. It tells you, and it's unique to each chemical, it tells you what to wear in terms of minimizing or eliminating practically exposure. So if you'll follow the directions that are specific for the material on personal protective equipment, and then wash up afterwards, you have really done a lot to minimize exposure, whatever chemical it is.
And tell me, are there some things that aren't as effective?
That is correct.
What are those?
Well, there's some products down here that basically, these materials, of course, they're registered with EPA, and they give a flash burn. I was talking about the pelargonic acid. Actually, one of these is a mixture of clove oil and citric acid. Doesn't move within the plant like glyphosate does, but it causes a flash burn. And so it kind of makes sense. They're not going to control perennials, and annuals, if they're got much size on at all, it's just going to give a quick burn and they'll rebound from that.
So
sometimes that's all people are looking for.
So it makes you think it's doing something, but it's not really taking care of the roots.
In most weeds, that is correct. So just make yourself a mental note if you do use it to come back about a week later and see if it's regrowing. It probably will be if we're getting rain.
Neil, are there some home remedies? I see a lot of things with dishwashing detergents that a homeowner can use that are effective.
The internet has a lot of information. Some of it is better than others, but there's a lot of references on the internet of things like vinegar and Epsom salts and table salts. And then the dishwashing liquid actually does help materials to spread on the leaf. So that's not all not all bull. But there are surfactants that you can buy in the store that do a better job of that and don't foam as bad. But most of those, I would spend my time looking for something more effective, because they either don't work or they cause minimal burn, and you end up wasting time.
I'm in my garden and I've got beautiful plants, but then I've got weeds starting to come up. How do I take care of the weeds and not hurt the investment of the plants that I've got in my garden?
Excellent question, because herbicides don't know the difference between your valuable plant and weeds. A number of things to think about. Just a simple cardboard box, cut side of it out and make it as a shield. A lot of it is picking a day that's good to spray or not to spray. Wind. We need to avoid spraying in the wind because of movement onto the plants. And then also temperature is important. Some of the materials like dicamba that we mentioned a little earlier volatilize under high temperatures. So avoid those days that are 85 or above, because you do get vapor movement, which can be just as damaging. One last thing is to not use herbicides that are soil active, that can be taken up by the roots. None of these that we talked about today are soil active, and those really, they're good materials in their place, but they don't have a place in a garden.
Okay, so Neil, what about pre-emergence herbicides? Is that something that a gardener should utilize?
They should be considered. There's a place. Pre-emergence means, by definition, is a herbicide that works prior to emergence of the weeds. They don't kill the seed, but as the weed seed germinates, the weed either takes it up by the emerging shoot or by the emerging roots. They are effective on small seeded broadleaves and on annual grasses. Perhaps the most widely used or most popular one on the market is Preen, which the active ingredient is trifluralin, which was actually first registered in the 1970s as a cotton herbicide. And so it's one of the most widely available. There are a number of others at your supply store. So on some weeds they are effective.
So, but get it out early. After the plant's up, it's not going to help you.
That's right. You've missed the boat.
If people are still confused, what's your suggestion for them? Because there's so many weeds and so many products on the market. What would you suggest that they do?
The best thing that homeowners and all other people can do is contact your local county extension office. They're there to serve you. Your tax dollars pay for that service. And contact the agent and say, hey, I've got these weeds, or I've got this concern, or I've got this insect. They're there to help you. And they're the best source of unbiased information for homeowners, farmers, and the other citizens of your state.
And I'm assuming you have a weed-free yard?
You've heard the story about the cobbler that had the kids that had holes in their shoes?
Yeah.
Enough said.
Got it.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.